Hey guys, welcome back to... Nope, I was going to say the other one. Let's do that again. Hey guys, it's your favourite girl. Welcome back to Conscious Conversations. Today I'm doing another episode of Walks of a Revert. I've got somebody that I've actually known for a while, but we've actually just never met. And the fact that this is the first time we're meeting and we're having a whole discussion is so cute. But I'm with my girl Grace. Say hey.
Nice to meet you all.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good?
A bit nervous, but it's nice to talk about these kind of things.
Don't be. Yes. Do you know what? The reason why I messaged you actually is I find your story quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't really meet a lot of white reverts. Yeah, maybe it's because of location and stuff, because I grew up in East London, and even being back and forth from East and South, it's you're not really around that, so it's not as common.
Yeah.
So obviously when I came across you and Lynn, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2.
That's
probably 2 and a bit now.
Yeah, it might even be going into 3.
Yeah, 2 and a bit now.
Do you remember how that happened? Do you remember who messaged who? Did you come across my page?
I think I come across you.
Right.
I think Lynn followed you. And I was like, this girl's so pretty, this and that. And I realised you'd done the boxing, and I was like, oh my God. I was just obsessed, and I was like, let's follow this and that. And then I think we maybe started liking each other thing and commenting, and then we DM'd each other and was like, hey, we need to meet up, or you need to come and train.
Yeah.
You said we need to come to Brixton Street.
Oh my God, that's so... We were going to do a day where you lot were going to come down, and then I was going to go...
COVID hit, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah.
Stop you 1 second.
Yeah. Is there mic 2 out? There you go. But continue. Oh my God.
Yeah, so we was meant to have a day, wasn't we? And then obviously, I think I went to Australia, come back, and then COVID hit. I got back as soon as COVID hit, and then it just fizzled out.
Oh my God, and then it just kind of went quiet for a little bit. But COVID really came and stopped a lot from happening.
It really just steadied life.
It really
just
did. So talk about, obviously, you and... What would you consider Lynn?
Lynn's my adoptive mother, we call each other. I'm
love.
a daughter from another mother, yeah.
We'd love to see it, man.
So I've known Lynn, because I'm best friend, my bestest friend, Sumaya, her daughter, we've known each other 7 years, I think. Yeah, coming up to 7. So we met in cadets when we was little, obviously grew up through the years together. We didn't never go same school, but we obviously... straight away clicked. Yeah, and then obviously I went round there, met Lynn and that, and from day one I'd never met a revert myself, because I'm atheist. I never had a belief, and that I believed in something greater but didn't have the right guidance.
Yeah, you didn't know the ins and outs.
Yeah, and then I just remember asking questions, and I used to go eat salah, I used to ask for hijab to be put on me.
How old were you when you were
13, when I was introduced to it, and through the years, it was when I was 14, 15, I'd always ask to take my shahada. I'd be like, oh, today's the day, and then they're like, oh my God, let's go. And then we didn't, and then we didn't, and then we didn't, and then it just was okay, next week we'll do it, kind of thing.
Right.
And then Eid al-Fitr 2 years ago, so June the 4th will be 2 years this year officially as such.
Wow.
Yeah. We was in Eid Salam, we was in a rak'ah, and I looked at Sumi and I was like, I want to take my shahada. I whispered, and she was like, oh my God, get the Oman. We all just went mad.
So cute.
Because I felt so comfortable. I'd had a quite negative before in some other mosques and things.
Yeah.
Because people look at you a bit differently. They do.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
where was this in East?
Tilbury, so in Essex. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I always used to go one in East London, on Green Lane. Some sisters were lovely, but you'd get them sly little auntie daggers.
It's always the aunties that just come looking at you sideways.
Yeah.
What's the Muslim community like in Essex then? Because
do you know what? Where I am specifically, I've never met no one, but in sort of Grays, Basildon, things like that, there's a lot. There's a bigger population.
Okay.
Chelmsford's got a really big Muslim society. They've got the massive mosque there and things.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Southend's got quite a few, but specifically where I am, there's not a mosque. The nearest mosque is 20 minutes away or so. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing.
That's mad. So okay.
That's why I love Ends so much. I'm come back down to East London.
I love it.
Fit right in.
Yeah, that's nice, and you feel the community. Do you know what I mean?
You feel welcome. You don't feel like
you're on your own type thing.
Yeah.
So. Okay, tell us more about obviously your relationship with Lynn, because she's kind of the entry point of you discovering Islam.
So I always just used to ask, because I was so fascinated. I'd never seen I'd seen kind of fair-skinned people in hijabs and things, but I just thought maybe Morocco, things like that, kind of them kind of cultures. And when she's English reader, I was like, oh wow, I kind of related it to a bit, and I was just instantly hooked. I just wanted to read Quran, the hadiths, everything. I just wanted to
learn.
knit. I'd always ask anything, but why does why can't you do this, but why is that? And she always taught me, and then it's just years and years of learning.
So she was a revert as well?
Yeah,
right?
So she's been a revert 25 years, I think, like something for a long time. Yeah, she reverted in uni. Met her, like she was already planning to revert, and then met Zahid, like her husband.
Where's he from? What ethnicity?
He's Pakistani, but he was born here.
Yeah.
And then
my God,
she took her shahada and everything, had her children, and then
that's so sweet. So how old were you when you took yours?
18. Yeah.
And how old are you
just
now?
20. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I was like just fresh turned 18. They was like, "Have you got ID on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got a picture of my passport." Because they was like, they don't want. Sometimes it's a touchy thing as well. Like a lot of people can pressure people into things, and they wanted to make sure it was like me, and I was happy enough.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. I remember it like yesterday. It was so mad.
I mean, so you're 2 years deep now. How did so obviously Lynn's like your adopted mum.
Yeah.
Do you know, how did your real family, like your blood, handle that, or what do they think of it?
I only told my mum because my mum and dad are not together, so we moved out last year. I only told my mum like a month or two before Ramadan, because last year.
Which Ramadan? This one?
Yeah, this one. I'm not joking. Yeah, this year. Because I kind of always bought halal things. Like I changed my lifestyle a lot from when I was like younger. So I think they nitpicked, but they thought I was just doing it because of Sumi and things. Like they didn't really, I think, put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
I told her, and I was with Lynn actually, and I was looking at Lynn, and I thought I just really want that comfort of like my mum knowing. And I think me and mum have never had like such a great relationship, but the last 2 years or so we've had the best one. So I think that was a big thing for me. Like it's a weight on your shoulders.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I get a bit emotional, but
That's
it is
okay.
like you hide it things. Yeah, and
it's
I told
hard.
her. Yeah, I texted her. I looked at Lynn and I was like, should I text her? Like, she was like, you can't text her. And I was like, it is. I'll even pull it up. It was like,
oh my goodness,
Mum,
the receipts, baby.
Where is it? I was like, Mum, I need to tell you something, this and that. And I just hit him straight to the point because she was out, so I didn't want to panic her. She was like, you need to tell me right now. Like, I'm out and I'm driving. And I was like, the first thing I said, it's really bad. Okay. And I was like, don't worry, I'm not pregnant. I was like,
screaming.
Because I think that's one of the worst things. I think my mum would have rather
panicked.
me come with that than that.
Yeah.
And I was like, for a long time, I've been Muslim. I took my shahada, which means I converted to Islam. No, I'm not brainwashed. I've like studied it for years and that. For me, it was like a really big saviour, blah, blah, blah. And it hasn't changed me as a person. I said it made me better for the person. She was like, oh, my darling girl, that doesn't ever change how I feel. I love you forever.
Aww.
Like, she just worries that I was literally
You're
like,
gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I was literally
that is
like,
so
I was
sweet.
sobbing my
Mashallah.
eyes out.
Yeah.
And I just was like, alhamdulillah, like my mum accepted it. And I think that's one of the biggest role models in my life.
Yeah.
So I think for her to like have that response and to sit there, I was just literally like, I just was crying and crying.
So you weren't even with her at this point, so when you went home?
Yeah, so I think I was there for like a couple of days for something, and then I went home.
Right.
And then we went out to get something and was on a drive, and I was like, how do you feel about me telling you? And she was like, I've actually got a funny story to tell you. And I was like, okay.
Oh God.
She said when I was about 6, I come home from primary school, and at that time, I don't remember this obviously, I had a Muslim teacher who was in a headscarf. So I come home and said, Mum, I want to be a Muslim. I want to be like Mrs. whatever she said her name was. Yeah. And I'd run upstairs, I got a towel and like draped it around my head like a hijab, and I was like, I'm going to come home in this one day. And my mum was like, okay, like, and she was like, how funny, like 13 years later,
wow,
come home. Yeah,
full circle.
She was just, she's more road, I think, of like, obviously we have quite a negative thing in the media sometimes, and especially I think male figures as well don't get bashed a lot in the media. So she was like, I just hope that you find like a good husband and someone that that's the thing she's only worried about. Because I think it'd been so long, she wasn't too bothered of. And she was like, it'd be nice for when like lockdown's over, go and learn and like lunch and things.
Oh my God, I'm so here for this.
Yeah,
that is so. Oh, that makes me so happy, because a lot of reverts don't get that.
No, I've heard some people that have had like their families have kicked them, they've shut them out of their lives, and then only like 10 years later they've come back and accepted. And I think that for me would have been the hardest thing of rejection. And I think that would have been a crushing point for me, because I think this is something I'm so passionate about, and I think for my family not to support that with you, it's the hardest thing, because you're going against them as well.
Yeah. So how does what's your mum and Lynn's relationship like?
Yeah, they've met, but they're like, my mum's very, she's got her, they're like very close. Yeah, so they've got like, obviously we're like, me and Sumi and like are best friends, and but they cross each other's paths, but they're not friends as such, but she like loves Lynn. She knows she looks
good.
After me and things. Like, she always has done, like when we've been on camps together and things.
Camps.
Yeah, when we was like 14, don't even.
Yeah. Do you know what? I used to always want to be in like brownies and cadets and stuff. Never was.
Oh
the African parents, they were like, what is this? I remember my parents were like, what is this? What do you mean you want to do this and that? And I said, wow, like, but that just makes me so happy, because it's like you have a full support system within like your family and like external. Do you know what I mean?
It was nice because they taught me, and then I had that knowledge to go with my family. And I literally sat there and I was like, okay, if they ask this, I know the answer to this, and I've got proof, and I've got the Quran to back it up, and I can show them the surahs, and I can do that. I wanted to wait a little bit so I could back my point as such, things like that.
Right.
But my nan only found out. My nan, so I'm a nanny's girl.
Love it.
And she only found out because my mum told her I was fasting, and I've always fasted as such. Obviously, like when I wasn't before, like a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
And like for me, this was the best thing. She broke fast with me, things like that. Like she waited for dinner. Like for me, that was the biggest one. Like my mum was very big, but for me,
it's different when it's like Nana, innit? It's just shout out to Nan, shout out to Mumsy.
Yeah, she like really like she said. She's kind of very old-fashioned, like little lady kind of thing. And she just was like, oh, who do you know who's doing it then? She's always kind of, know if you got like your ears pierced, or which one of your friends are doing it? Like, she's kind of like that, but she was like accepting of it. And I think for me, that was it. I was like, subhanallah, that's it. Like, I'm complete now. For my nan to accept it and know it, that was one of my biggest fears. I was like shook of my nan, like you don't want to get like hit kind of thing. But and then my brothers found out, and they was like, do what you want. Like,
really?
Yeah, everyone's just like fine with it, and I've like, it's such a weight lifted, because it's 2 years in hiding, and you think like Ramadan last year in hiding and in lockdown, so it was even harder.
What was that like, Ramadan in hiding?
Hard.
I have a friend that literally, she would be, I remember she was on Instagram Live, and she's proper Essex white girl, so it's so funny. And she's a revert. But she got married a little while ago, but prior to this, like, her parents didn't know, so she'd be fasting and hiding, going on lives, and like in a little hijab and hiding, and like having to lock her door. And I was like, this is a lot. Like,
it was kind of, I'm kind of grateful, alhamdulillah, for my friends, because I just started my job when I come. So that was last year, and obviously Ramadan was what was it last year? April, like May. So I was like, I'd only fresh my job and things, but I was still in secret, no one knew, and both of my parents were still we was all living at home together at that time, and my brothers as well. So it was like,
how old are your brothers, if you don't mind me asking?
One's 26, two are 32.
Oh wow.
And then the one's 38. Yeah,
so you're the
like
youngest.
Old,
you're the baby.
Yeah.
Aww.
But yeah, it was hard because it was in secret. And I said I was fasting. I always use the excuse, I've had it at Sumi's house, I've done this at Sumi's house, so I use it. I was like, Sumi's doing it, I'm doing it with her. And they was like, okay. They didn't really like put two pets together and things. But yeah, it was hard in the morning, because it was like I'd go to work, come in, sleep, cook for iftar and that, pray, everything. But I would force myself to stay awake till suhoor, because in case my alarms woke them up. So I'd like my eyes would be like raw red, like going to work in the morning.
That is so
But
sweet.
it's nice because a lot of my colleagues are Muslims.
Yeah.
So they taught me a lot, and they've helped me a lot and things.
That is so cute.
Yeah, I've had, alhamdulillah, a good experience, like most 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. That's actually made me so happy. So I feel like it's a happy episode today, because a lot of my episodes are when I have people who revert, because you'd be, I think, the third episode of Walks of a Revert. So it's like the stories that I've heard, and I haven't even had these people on yet.
Oh my god!
Like, they'll make you cry. So
don't.
I'm like, oh my god, look at you! We love it. We love to see it. Right, let me just have a little look. What was one of the biggest struggles you faced? Like, it could be just before you took your shahada, but you were still like in it, or after, or.
I think I've had two. I think two of the biggest struggles is, one is your lifestyle. I think I've come from like no religion. Like my friends are like mostly white Christian. Like some of them are black and Asian and things like ethnicity, but they're all like kind of Christian. I've got some Muslim friends. Yeah. But I think it's a lifestyle change. It's not like it's your tongue, it's your dress, it's your acting. I think like I was a party goer as a kid sometimes, and I'd go clubbing and things like that. And I think you have to kind of slowly withdraw yourself. You can't just slip bang, because everyone asks questions and then everyone gets nosy. Yeah. Like, alhamdulillah, my friends are so lovely. Like, they've always asked questions, or they've been interested. Like, wow, really? Like, when I told them and things. But it is the lifestyle change. And I think too is the acceptance of, like, sometimes it's been the Asian community. Like, you'll be surprised. I remember once we was me and Lynn was in Ilford selling jog-on hijabs,
wow.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
In HSBC, and I'm obviously outside. I've got my hijab on and things. Like, inshallah, one day I'd love to wear it, but I'm like part-time hijabi.
I love it. Just take your time. Yeah.
And then I said salam to her sister, like an auntie, and she looked at me and was like
in shock. Almost.
She was like, "You're not my sister. You're white. You can't be Muslim." In the middle of Ilford, like anyone that watched this will know how busy Ilford is. No and I stood there with my leaflets in my hand. I was like, "Oh my God, what?" And like she looked at me and like in disgust, yeah. And I started to cry, and I thought, for me, that was what I'd only recently not long converted. So I think I was so chippy and so bubbly. I went to Lynn and I was like crying, and she was like, where's she go? Like she was on a mad one. Like she was going like, I want to find her, this and that, and we didn't see her. And I said what she looks like, and I went to the toilet, and I was like, oh my God, she's here in this shop. It was like an abaya shop, yeah, in Ilford, right at the back in the Exchange.
Right.
And I was like, she's here. She stormed over, yeah, and she just went mad. Like, she really stuck up for me. Yes, like, she probably stuck up for me. And was like, what do you mean this and that? And she was like, because she's obviously white as well.
Yeah.
She was like saying to her basically, no, you can't be Muslim. I went, are you so joking me? Like, I've been Muslim for so, listen. She started reciting Surah Yasin, like around the shop script. Like she just went like proper stuck up for me.
Said, yeah, like, let me drop these gems. Yeah. We love Lynn, man. Lynn, you need to come on.
Yeah. But she proper stuck up for me, and I was like, so relieved because I had that back in there, and I wasn't on my own. I think if I was on my own, I would have just let it took me. Yeah. But now I look at it and laugh, and I think that woman, like, just naive, it's naivety. It's all like it's like you said though. It's a ludicrous subject. It's like we're there, but we're not out there and such. Like we know each other, and we know of like people with people, but you don't. It's not publicly out there unless they're like on speaker's corner or something. Oh God,
I've been there. That's a whole touchy subject, baby. That's a whole different subject. But no, I find that like so insane. Yeah. Like the audacity for you to, and this is where my problem lies with certain like Muslim communities within, especially London. Yeah. Like it's very Asian dominated, which is fine because that's the population or whatever. Like brothers and sisters, we love everybody. Yeah. But there's a way to conduct yourself like that. There's almost a superiority complex. Yeah, I'm North African, so I'm Algerian, right? So I remember going to a mosque and like being the only North African person there. Everybody else is Asian. I was the only like other there, and it was so like you get treated so differently
usually.
Yeah, and this is just our experiences, guys. Like we love everybody. It's not like this isn't a generalization, but when I hear and see stuff like that, even within other communities saying it towards others, it's just like, like who are you?
It's like, alhamdulillah, we're all blessed with the same God, the same Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Yes.
Like we're brought together for a reason, and I think to not appreciate that's such a strange thing to me. And I think I would love to have iftar with like every different culture, bring like that for me is like perfect. Yeah. But for some people that's like what? Like, that's so strange to them, and I think a lot of
people like what's familiar to them. They like their own.
People get culture and I think religion mixed
a lot, yeah.
Like a lot, and it's especially like with me because we're quite fair skinned. They like think if a lot of that's why I've had it from the Asian community. They're like, but you're white.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I can. Like we're all true born Muslims. So why wouldn't you accept me back for like coming back to you?
Yeah.
Like, it's
like what makes you think a Muslim looks a type of way? Anyways?
That's what I mean. Like
it's literally faith is a walk of life.
Yeah,
anyone
it's
can
not a look
or
a like, personality or a type of dress.
Trait.
Like, it's not
really not. Yeah.
That's what confuses me. But
oh my God, that is insane. But this is why I say to you, it's so important to have that support system. Yeah. Because a lot of people, like I've met people that have said to me, they became Muslim, but then the Muslim community has been so bad to them. They come away from it. Yeah, they completely separate themselves, and then that's affected them and their deen. And it's like, I just like we need to do better. Like as a community, like as a ummah, like we really need to do better because this isn't. It's so scary that one of your own people, so to speak, right, could push you away from something that's
so like close to you and so in your heart.
That's real.
That's what I mean.
It's
like,
true.
Alhamdulillah, I'm so strong. Like we're like independent women. Like Beyonce out here.
Tell them, like, baby.
I can handle that. I'm very thick-skinned sometimes, and that for me, I'm like, all right, whatever, mate. Like, jog on, literally.
But I love that plug. We're gonna get onto that as well.
Like, for me. But then I've seen on like, especially this year, TikTok and things, I think lots of people have been reverting. I think lockdown was a big eye opener to everyone on life and like how quick things can snap and things. And I think I've seen and I've heard people that, like you said, that have reverted and this and that, they loved it, and then they got bang, they've had such a bad experience because they've not got that support system, they're hiding it from their families or whatever else, they don't know their stories as such. They've like, oh my God, like I've had times where I think where I had like trouble in my life and things not going right, and I thought, oh my God, is this like, I had a blip, like, is this really for me? Like, is it true? It's like, it happens and it does.
And it's very normal. Like, people that are born into faith doubt faith sometimes.
Yeah, and I like doubted it, and then I like, when things in Ramadan come back around and I'm like, no, like, it was a blip in my life, and I realised like, if bad things happen, you just have to take it on the chin.
That's life, innit? Like your trials and your tribulations lay in the struggle. Do you know what I mean? And that's people don't like struggle, they don't like pain, they don't like change. Do you know what I mean?
But that makes you as a person, and that makes you closer to, I think, to your faith.
Exactly, because what change builds you. Do you know what I mean? But what about your friends, like your friendship circle? How has that changed? How has it been support wise?
No, I've always had kind of the same friends from school. I grew up them for years, like as kids, split up, like connected in secondary school. So I've always had like the similar, like I've had friends that come and go where I've met them through like cadets or like when I was a kid, or we've met each other out, like and like friends of friends. I've always had kind of the same like friendship circle. But like for me, that was always a thing. I was always talking about it, so they kind of knew. And then when I went and done it, but alhamdulillah, they're so supportive. Like I couldn't ask for better friends. Like I've had some friends, and then I remember I was talking, it wasn't too long ago actually, and I wanted to wear, I was like, I really want to start wearing a hijab and things. I think for me that would be the next like step in my deen and things, and like so on and so on. But for me, like she's obviously born like Asian, like Pakistani. She didn't understand. For me, that's a really big thing. I said to her, like, who I work with, my colleagues, who some of them don't know, and I think some people don't know, like especially like friends of a friends and things like that.
Because it is a stereotype.
Like, for me to walk out into public and that I like in a hijab, I'm automatically bang, I've got a shield up, and I think of the worst, and then I've got this persona of like people looking at me, like giving me side eye, things like that. I said to her, like, I know it's not right, I shouldn't be wearing it, this and that, but everyone's on their own journey to God. Everyone's on their own level. And I said, I want to, and she just looked at me and she was like, you can't do that. I went, what?
What do you mean?
Like, you can't wear hijab. Like, I said, sometimes when I go out, I want to wear it to feel confident. She was like, you can't do that, this and that. It's the way you dress, it's your tongue. And I said, hold on a minute, I don't dress like that anyway. But I said, I'm just talking to you as a friend. I'm telling you an opinion of how I feel and what I want to do, and like I'm trying to get closer to my dean. And you were like, she literally just went, bing, Dr. Martin me out, like
Dr. Martin,
like she just kicked me out, and I sat there and I was like,
so
I dropped it then, and
crazy.
I thought it really upset me because I thought, coming from my own like friend as such.
Do you know why that is though? A lot of people feel like their way of getting closer to faith is the only way of getting closer to faith. So for example, with you, it might be putting on a scarf, and that might build your iman. Do you know what I mean? With me, it might be perfecting my character or doing less of a specific sin, and that might. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's like path to get closer to God is different. So for her to come and be like, I think the only part of me that kind of understands, maybe she's coming from a place of, no, you need to maybe perfect your character before you think of like, you do the internal before you do the external type thing. Right? But even then, if that's what helps you, a lot of people go the other way. They do the external, and that helps them perfect their internal. So I think that, I don't know, I don't like that.
It was hard coming from like such, I thought, like, we're not so close now, but it was such a close friend, and I thought for you, like, and I thought, who, and she like kind of gave me the eyes of like judging, and I thought, but you can't judge me, like, I think you do whatever you want to do, I'm not there to comment on your life, I was just telling you an opinion of how I feel. And I was like, my character, like, it changed over the years, like, you mature so quickly and things like that. Especially like having my 4 older brothers, I've always been mature anyway, so I think my character, you could work on it and things, but it's like, that for me was the next step. That was the next step for me. That's the thing I'm like dying to do, like I'm desperate to do that as such. I'm
so excited.
And it was like, it just knocks you down a bit, and it makes you sit and think like, if she can act like that, then how are people? Then you have to just be strong-minded. You do.
But that's what it is.
And it's between you and God. It's
exactly.
You, like,
you see little comments like that. That's what makes your faith stronger, though.
Yeah.
That's like God testing you. He's like, okay, cool. Let me test you with someone close to you, and see how you react. Because you can find in people that are close to you, especially as a revert. Like you go to the people that are of that faith or whatever, and you have a good relationship with them. So when you hear stuff like that, you're like, oh, like, okay, now what? Do you know what I mean?
You're moving, like.
Yeah, it's like, but it's even, you start questioning how you would move.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh no, like, well, now what do I do? Like, was that right? Was that wrong?
Yeah.
Especially when, again, you don't come from, like, you weren't born into that faith, so you're still learning as well as everybody else. So I feel like that's just a bit, I don't know, that's just everyone
like, agreed with me, and I
oh.
just was like, okay, let's move on.
Does she wear a scarf?
No, nothing. Like, that's what I mean. I thought,
maybe there's a level of jealousy there then.
I don't know, but it was like, you move with your tongue correctly, and then come and consider on mine. Like, it just was like period. Like, I just,
and you know what, this makes me happy, because when I asked you about your I think I asked you your strengths or whatever, I asked you earlier, I can't remember, guys, don't judge me, memory loss. You said, the first thing you said to me was your tongue. And I said, in my head, literally my next thought was, wow, she's been well educated. Because a lot of people don't come for that. A lot of people will go for all the exterior and be like, well, I need to like have reverted, I need to quickly dress a type of way, and their mindset is still stuck in that 2-3 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that you said that just shows that you've really, like, you know what you're doing. Like
alhamdulillah, I've had the support circle and things, but everyone I've met, even like Lynn's friend, like everyone, like my friends are like mums and things, they've said, like, take it slow, it's a journey. Like, I learned about Islam for maybe 4 or 5 years, and then I took my shahada, and then I get like slapped with like other elements, and like,
now you're in it, it's gonna be a test of, okay, are you really here to stay?
Are you really here to stay? Is this really for you? And I think you kind of learn, like, your first Ramadan's really nice, it's all bubbly because everyone's loving you, and then it's like you get to your second one, like now, and I think, okay, less people, you're not like, they're so wow, like it's not an event anymore. It's not a massive
like
celebration. Now it's Ramadan, it's like, this is what will be for the rest of your life, and it does an eye open, and like, alhamdulillah, I've had the books and I've got things, I'm very knowledgeable like that. There's so much out there, but there's so much out there, it's like you just have to not be lazy, and you have to take that step forward and like order the book or just watch it on YouTube. And
that is so important. Don't be lazy. Like, I feel like, especially nowadays, people choose to be ignorant. Everything is out there. If you really want to know about something, you'd look into it.
Or you just Google it. Like, I remember Googled once. I remember Googling. I was like, because I just got out of the shower, and I was like, can you pray with wet hair? And I Googled it, and it was like, yes. And I was like, okay. Like, if you just want to know something, but you do. Like, it's the little things like that, because we're especially, like, you've been brought up Muslim and things. It's like, for me, I have to learn
from
scratch everything, like your character, your words, the Quran, the hadiths, like your surah. You have to learn every single thing to a T. And I think I don't want to do one thing wrong, but then it's like you want to try and please and things like that. So it's like, I literally was like, can you pray for her? And I just was like, well, it's my intention in it. So
that is so sweet.
But you do, like, it's not about, it's about being lazy. It's not like, oh, I don't know, so I'm not going to pray. It's like, find a way, like,
if your heart's really in it, you'll find a way, right?
Like, however much you like will try and things, it's like alhamdulillah, like this year I've been a lot more praying and things, because last year obviously I reverted and things, I didn't learn a lot, and always, like, before I always used to just copy and need salah, and I just used to like whisper to God and things, because I didn't know what to say, and I obviously didn't know the meanings and things. And last year, and I think lockdown, like, it hit people hard, and it was hard for me, especially as like being at home with everyone and not knowing, and that it was time consuming, and like, and I was lazy, I know I was, but this year, like, I know things off heart. I remember me and Lynn, we used to go running, so I'm training for the marathon. Are you? Yeah. So after Ramadan, because it's in October now, because it got postponed a year because of Corona. And I remember we used to run in the woods, and she taught me like Al-Fatiha, and that's how I remembered it, because we used to run along like Alhamdulillah, like we just used to run around. That's how I learned it, but it's not. It's pure, like, you have to make that dedication and time for it. My colleague said it was like, okay, hour on TikTok, easily done. Hour reading Quran, can I be bothered? Hour doing this, hour doing that.
It's always like the things that truly matter to us, we don't make the time for. And it's so interesting how that works. And one thing I would say to you is, don't ever allow things to become a chore. Like, when I was growing up, like, praying was like a chore to me. I was like, oh my God, I have to pray, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then there was a point in time where I just completely avoided it, because I said, like, the disconnect was very much there, do you know what I mean? Up until maybe like a year ago, where I properly started, I was like, you know what, I need to take my life a bit more serious, and take my faith a bit more serious, especially if I'm going to choose to be a part of something. And I think a lot of people forget as well, just because you're like, I was born Muslim, but I still chose to be Muslim. Do you know what I mean? So I think That's mad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about obviously your marathon, jog on, all of that sort of stuff. How did that start?
So Penny Appeal, I'm running with Penny Appeal, and Lynn ran the marathon with them. I believe it was 2018. So we obviously went there. We met like Haru, like we met everyone kind of like the big like who mainly like run the show kind of thing. And I was like, marathon has always been one of my dreams. So it was like, alhamdulillah, I never got a ballot place ever. I never got a ballot place. That's really hard to get into. Yeah. And then I got offered a space to run with Penny Appeal, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, like this and that. And I've done like some fundraisers and things. Like, alhamdulillah, I'm nearly there. I've got about £300 left.
Alhamdulillah. What's it for?
Water wells in Gambia. Yeah.
Oh, we love to see it.
Lynn's got 4. She raised enough money for 4. I think she raised just under or over 20,000. Yeah, when she ran it, but. So I'm near enough too, so that's like half of a well, but it's just bringing that happiness to, like, for me that's one of the biggest things of like helping other people. And I think if I'm more than capable, like my life's okay, why don't I give it to like help someone else, right? And then so then Jog On got created, I believe it was 2019. Like production and everything, but alhamdulillah it's going well. That's what I mean, like becoming a Muslim, we went to the Muslim Lifestyle Expo and I met so many people there. Like you think of how many Muslims go there. It was in Manchester. Okay. So you think how many Muslims were there and things, and like the different stalls and companies. And I think some of them I still use now, like Baraka deals and things like that, and like the abaya shops. I still like order off of them and things. So that was like alhamdulillah. It's a blessed thing, and it is. And we like met so many people there, and sometimes I still talk to them now. Yeah, like we're still
you found friends. Your little community. Yeah, like you found your tribe.
Welcome as such. Like you know what, you have to look at the positives that outweigh the negatives, and I think I've had so many positives, alhamdulillah, and I think the negatives, they're there as a test, and there's always you're not gonna please everyone. Exactly. There could be a room of 100 people and one person don't like you, but you're not gonna get that person to like you. But yeah,
that's how you know you're headstrong.
Yeah, because you have to be though. Yeah. You have to be, especially being a minority as such, and like you have to accept that you ain't gonna be liked by everyone, and I think that's just.
Do you know what? I find that very interesting because you are a minority. And obviously, despite like being white or whatever it may be or whatever, because you're a white Muslim revert and you're a woman on top of that, people don't think, maybe because you're just white, right? Yeah. People don't think you're a minority. Yeah. And it's like, people really need to understand like how classism and minority schemes work because the treatment that you get is it's not the same. It's not how people would think. Do you know what I mean?
It's like, I'm white at the end of the day, like obviously everything that's gone on in the world the last few years and things, it is like the superior like thing, like I don't know why, but then you have to look at people's like, okay, I'm white, but then I'm this and then I'm this. Exactly. And it's like, it would be different if I was white and really rich, if white and really poor. There's different classes, and there's like, it's within every faith, and I think like that's why I mean you never judge a book by its cover, and you have to support, like be kind to people. That's especially I think everyone's realised in the last year as such, because of how everything, you don't know what someone's going through, and I think that one little thing can like hurt someone so bad. And like just because I'm white on my skin doesn't mean that I haven't got this background and then that and that and that, and it's like maybe someone's black, I don't know, they've got this and then this, like you just don't know at all. Yeah. But
so do you think you've had, this might be a bit controversial, maybe not, do you think you've had worse treatment since you reverted within the Muslim community or the non-Muslim community?
Non-Muslim.
Really? Yeah. How do you have any experiences that you could?
Yeah, that as soon as you said that, I just knew the one thing that was coming up.
Oh God.
When I was doing my fundraiser, he's like my uncle, he's like my dad's best friend.
Oh wow, so it's even that.
Yeah, he's all love me, like adore him, like I call him my Uncle Desi and that. But when I explained what I was running the charity for and things, and like it's a Muslim charity and things, he was like, if it was a UK charity, or like if it was going to the UK, he would donate, but he didn't because it was going to Gambia. And I thought, there and then, that's where the partition of like diversity lies. And I think, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, we're both white, and I think I just can't get around how some people can be so different. That for me, I realised even in the 21st century, there's a split still, regardless. And I think it's a lot of I think with us, we need to do a lot of like flipping the youngsters around and saying,
unlearning.
It's time for a change. It is 100%. And I like, even when I've talked to like women and things like that, and they're like, they just don't agree, they just don't get it, and I'm like, but that's okay, like, just don't be rude about it to someone, or don't, you're welcome to your opinion 100%. I can't change how you feel.
When you say they don't get it, what do you mean? Because for me,
like,
I don't get how you don't get it.
Yeah.
Do you
so
know
it's
what I
like
mean?
if when I've told maybe someone I'm converting, they're like, but why, what this and that, they're like, it's not like, oh, okay, why is that, like, it's how, it's your tone and how you come about it, like, ask questions and things like that. My nan asked me lots of questions like why, and then I've been able to factuate and like, this is what I believe in. And my mum said as well, like, we was talking about rishtas and things like engagement, and I was like, yeah, we was talking about that, and she was like, but why this and that. I was like, but this is what I believe, like, this is how it is. And she was like, oh, okay. But it's like, I can guarantee if I talk to some of my mum's friends that were like born and bred here, like, very like proper English, they'd be like, but why? But then, but that's just silly, like this and that. Like, it's how you go about it, and it's like understanding that I'm a person as well with feelings. I'm not just a robot that's like, oh, I'm a revert. Like, this is who I am, and such like that. I think it's time to now like educate rather than, because we, especially as well, like, media's a powerful thing, as you can see, and you put one bad thing out there, 1 million people see it. You put one good thing out there, 100,000 people see it. It's not vaguely spread as such. So it's like, it's time to talk about it and like get these things out here and educate people and go, okay, you don't agree with me, but that's fine, like, let's talk about it like adults and such like that. That's what it is, kind of thing. Do you know,
that's when you realise people's maturity. That's something that
when my like uncle said that, I thought, okay, I know what I'm dealing with here now.
It's a bit like, it's almost unbelievable, because you think, oh, like, you know, uncle, you've loved me, I love you, like, grow up together. You're
supporting me, you're not like, fair enough, you're supporting the charity, but that's my choice. You're meant to support me, and that's why I realised, it's just okay, like, there's just still, there's a diversity still here. And I've had a lot of people like that, because I've chose to run with her. My mum's, everyone said it to me, and I know it is as well, because I've chose to run like with a Muslim charity, and I've chose to do something overseas, but I believed in it. I researched my cause and I believed in it. Everyone said if you was doing it for like maybe a British charity and that, you know, I would have had thousands by now.
But when they say a British charity, but like Christian,
kind of like Christian charity,
that's
like,
what they mean though.
Maybe like cancer, something along them lines. I would have had tons, and I've seen it. I know lots of marathon runners, and I know lots of people, and we've done it at the same time, and sometimes we're at the same running level and things. And they've already got 4,000. I've not hit 2, and I think, and people, my mum said it to me. I respect what you do, but you're gonna have a tough time trying to get donations. You will, because when you pass, oh, what's that? You're building water work. As soon as they hear that, cut off. Because what they've seen on the telly, this and that, cut off. Like, it's just automatically gone, kind of thing. And like, you have to. That's what I mean. Like, I'm so lucky I can be confident, and be like, no, but this is why. Like, you can back it up as such. But
that's so lit.
Yeah.
Look at you doing things. I love that for you. I really do. Oh my god, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot to take in. Sorry. Do you think that faith has made you more sensitive? Because the only reason why I asked this is because with me, like, anyone that knows me or has known me for a while knows that I'm quite tough, or I like to come across as quite tough, or whatever it may be. Like, but I've always said one thing that will make me cry and break down is my faith.
Yeah.
Like, out of everything, like, nothing will make you cry like my faith does, and I think that's where my sensitivity lies. How, like, do you think it's affected you that way?
I think I'm quite a nurturing person. Anyway, I've always kind of been like, you know, like the mum of the group of things. I love to like help people and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think, like, especially with Reverting, I think, okay, like, you change your lifestyle, like we said, and I think it's made me more compassionate for others. And I think now I know that it's this world and after. It's not just this. I'm not living for a living's sake, and I know. I
love that.
Yeah, but it's, you know,
say that again. I love that. I love that.
Like, you know, like, you've got a purpose in this life, and you know, like, it sounds funny, but you have a routine with life now. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing at this time, like this and that, and I know Ramadan. Like, it one bang after the another, and I think it does make you a more sensitive person. I think, like, if I've, especially, like, you try not to beat yourself up a bit. It's like, if I've missed maybe some prayers and things, like, you do get wound up, and you're like, you get emotional and angry, and you think, oh my god, like, why couldn't I just not do that? You beat yourself up, and then, like, you have to sit there and give yourself a reality check of, like, you're not a robot, like, you're gonna make mistakes. Life comes in the way. Like, I work a 9-to-5 job, so it's like, sometimes, like, I haven't got time to pray in that day, and I think I'll make that up later. And then, like, if you forget, if you get home and you're tired and you got to cook, like, your life gets in the way sometimes. I think you just have to, like, sit back, relax, and you think, like, try not to beat yourself up. And it's harder to say than do, obviously. No, I understand what you mean, though. It does make you feel like, what, like, and when things don't go right and that, yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people say, like, when you carry yourself in this world, you can carry yourself as tough as you want, but the moment you lay your head down on a mat, you need to strip
I've cried on that prayer mat hundreds of times.
I think that's probably the only place I've cried is when I'm praying. Like, it's not even... Oh, it's crazy. It's so... And I feel like it's almost an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like people that don't get it won't get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you can do it. I've sat there before, and I think if something's bad happened, that pray, whatever.
Yeah.
And I've just sat there, and I've just burst into tears, this and that, and I'm just thinking about 100 things. And then I've got up and gone up to normal.
Yeah.
And then I'm just back to normal. Like, snap, bang, you're back to normal. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? I think I just sat there, like, screaming, crying my eyes out.
Oh, my God. Right. What was the hardest thing to give up? It could be from anything, from, like, it could be from pork to, like, lifestyle to, like, whatever. But what was something that you feel like, oh, my God, I actually can't do this anymore?
The hardest thing? I don't know, you know. I think I think the hardest thing would be your lifestyle before. I think that would generally be, it's like trying to differentiate, like, how to get into that kind of new lifestyle and that new way of life, and like without trying to, like, create a barricade, like, without trying to, like, exclude everyone out and things like that. I think that's a harder one. I didn't eat pork anyway. I've had that question later. My friend, but like,
I was gonna ask you, are you a pork eater? I have
had that question before, and it's like, but do you not miss pork? And I think, have you seen pork? Like, do you want to go, like,
no pork, I'm like, on my fork. Yeah. Period. We don't do
like,
that.
I've always had that question, but do you not miss having a bacon sandwich? And I'm like, no, do you? Like, that's the only thing. But yeah, I think definitely hardest thing is, like, your lifestyle and your habits. And it's like, because you just have to think, with life there's different channels. You've got your friends, your family, your work, people in the street, like if you're like you've got your channel, like, you've just got different like avenues of life. You think the hardest thing is to leave behind of, like, how they knew you before, and, like, how to show them the adjustment of, like, going into that, like, transitioning period. Like, I'm still in it, everyone's still in it and things, and think it's just it's a process. It's a time. Do
you think that's why, like, it's taken you? Because I can see it in your heart that you want to wear a scarf.
Yeah.
Like, I can see it. When you speak on it, I see it in your eyes. Do you think that's what's holding you back? Is the fear of, like,
it's other
adjustment?
People, yeah. I'm a very, like I said, I'm very hard with that. But end of the day, everyone cares what people think. And I think people know me how I was before, like, the drinking, the partying, like, whatever else, like, and they'll look at me and they'll think, why she got a headscarf on? Like, it's that, like, them whispers, and that's what stops you, and that's what I think is the hardest thing for me, of, like, okay, I've done bad things in my life, we all do bad things, and I think I don't want people now to think, but she did that not long ago at this, and because they don't know, like, certain things, and like that, they're not as educated to say, like, if I put a scarf on, you know me, and, like, okay, like, you know the steps is, like, but she had a boyfriend a year and a half ago, now she won a headscarf, like, what's that about? Like, this, like, oh, she's had, like, sex before marriage and things like that, and but now she's got a headscarf. Like, it's that things of, like,
it's prejudice.
Yeah, it's prejudice, and it's like, but alhamdulillah, like I said, my friends are very supportive. Like, if I went to them, like, babes, this is what it is, like, deal with it, kind of thing, like, deal with it, kind of such. They'd be supportive in that. Like, we've got that relationship. We can be bannery like that. It's just the kind of people that knew me and things like that. It's like little whispers of, like, okay, you need to forget about them, and it's for you and only you. And, like,
do you know what I think those things kind of come with anything that means something to you. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, like, even with me, before I started doing one of my podcasts and stuff, people were like, Miriam, you're gonna get hate because you're a Muslim girl doing X, Y, and Z, and people are gonna look at you funny, whether it's from the same community or not. From someone else. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, there needs to be a moment or something within you that just blocks out the noise. Yeah. Because
it's like, just that moment of, like, that's it.
You said it before. You said, like, you know that this life isn't your final destination, but you know you have a purpose in this life, right? And that purpose lies within your routines. Yeah. So if you know what your purpose is, block everything out. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I always say to people all the time, people comment on how I dress or, like, my scarf or la-di-da, whatever. And I'm like, I worship God's faith, not yours. So I don't know, like, you can come and speak. Them, sis. Do you get it? So, like, my piece of advice to reverts is always just block out the noise, because you came to where you're at mentally, physically, spiritually, because of your own, because of your heart, because of your soul. Do you know what I mean? So it would be almost silly of you to take a step back because of others when the reason why you're here is because of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
It's still so hard though. It is, like, it is generally harder to speak, and I think, like, I've sat there sometimes I think, I don't care what people think, let me do it. And then I've gone to it and I'm like, let me creep back a bit. And I think it's a confidence thing as well. I think I'm still confident, but I think my confidence isn't up there. I just think, who are you? Like, period. Like that. Yeah. It's like, it is generally like a time thing, and I think it comes with age as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're young. Like, you'll get there though. Like, I have faith in you, and when the day comes, you better call me and be like, baby, and I'll be like, yes, and I'll just know. I'll be like, oh, I can't wait for that.
I know.
I feel like as well, like, oh my god, you know, when you wear a scarf, we need to throw a party. That's how I feel. These things need to be celebrated.
Yeah, but if a thing, I think a lot for reverts, like you said, a lot of people usually rush into it. They'll straight put the hijab on, this and then they're still like, I said I always wanted to rather learn and things like that, and then maybe like go on to like dress it like this and things like that. But as well, I forgot what I was going to say. Cut that bit out.
It's alright, you lose your trail of thought. But
yeah, so what I was going to say is, like, I think for me as well, it's because, like, when I'm with a lot of Muslims, that they think, because my friends are maybe Asian and things like that, they don't necessarily think I am, and I want to say salams and things, but it's still a nervousy thing, and I will say salams. Like, I remember I went into the meat shop once, and I was like, Assalamu alaikum, brother, like, can I get this and that? And he was like, oh, you're Muslim, this and that. And I was like, yeah, alhamdulillah, blah, blah, blah. He was like, did you convert for a man? And then I just was like, oh. I was like, okay, here we go. Like, and I think for me to be in a scarf as well, it's an identity. Like, and that's and then people know when I'm walking along the street that she's a Muslim, that I'm not just Grace, like little white girl walking like they know who I am, they know my culture, like they know what
your faith.
Yeah, that for me would be like so nice, because you don't have to then introduce yourself as like, oh yeah, no, you know what I am, you can clearly tell
yeah.
Such
so
like
even if you question it, it's dumb, it's like you're doing it to be annoying. Yeah. You know what I mean? How many times have you got that? Like, did you convert for a guy? How long have we got for this interview? Because I could go on
I hate that
single
day. Like, always, have you reverted for a man? Are you married? And I'm like, no. Like,
you're like, I'm a baby.
Do you see a ring on my finger? Period. No. Like, lots of people.
Yeah. Does it come from men, or does it come
from men? A lot from men. Yeah, but they're like, men. Oh, did you revert for a man? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, okay, this and that. It comes a lot from man.
It's alright, you can continue.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how many women ask as well.
Really?
Because obviously it's we're the lesser side.
Yeah.
A lot of women are like, oh, did you convert, like, and then like for your husband? And I'm like, but I'm not married. Like, I'm 20.
I'm a baby. I'm a baby. They're trying to wife you. That's what it is. They're keeping an eye out for you.
Oh my god! Don't say that.
I'm screaming. Yeah. Oh my god. That's so cute though. Do you think if you were to like see yourself get married, who or what would you see yourself getting married to? Like, what type of man? Like,
do you know what? I always get asked this, like, you know when you ask your friends of like, what's your type thing? Like, what would?
Yeah.
For me, it wouldn't. I've always been a believer in like, I love what I love. Like, you could literally be like white, black, Asian, like Filipino, like you could just be anything, but as long as you love that person, you've got that. I know if I'm with, like, if I'm looking for someone, you just know in it, you've got that spark, things like that. So
have you ever dated outside your race?
Yeah, I don't think I've only ever been, I think, like white boy before in the past.
Really?
Because I'm very like, that's what I mean, when you come from, like, my friends laugh and they're like, you're like a reverse coconut. It's like, you're so like, they call me that. It's so funny. It's so
my
bad.
god! I don't even know how to react to that.
But it's like, it's very, when you go up in East London and things, the culture and everything is so diverse.
Yeah,
you're gonna learn about other cultures and things like that, and it's like, you can either choose to stick within that,
right,
or you can like learn to explore other things like that. And I've always wanted to get to know other people's faves, culture, like whatever. So
you'd be like open to interracial marriage?
Yeah, of course. I'm all for it.
Mandem.
Go and get your girl. Like,
link in the description. Shout her Insta. DM the chick. That's super cool. Because I feel like a lot of reverts don't branch out to that.
Yeah.
Because it's already hard to be something that, or to go into something that you're not. So they'd rather settle down with someone that's still familiar to them. Yeah,
I think what's hard as well for reverts though, like I said, alhamdulillah, I've had that support. They don't know their rights and things like that. They get married. The in-laws tell them this. Yeah. The husband tells them that. They don't know black and white. Period. This is what we're allowed. This is what I've got. They don't know it. So I think if I was to get married, I'd be like, okay, have you got this? Have you got that? That's my right. Like, I can just lay it out and be like. But lots of men, you'll be surprised. Lots of men get intimidated by that.
Yeah.
And lots of people like won't want to get married to you for that. Like they'll just be like, oh, like they're intimidated by a powerful woman.
But then that's how you know their intentions weren't pure to begin with, because it's like, oh, so you
know.
wanted to walk all over me.
Yeah,
you thought
you
thought you could do that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow. Do you know what? I love this conversation.
I do. It's so nice to talk about.
You've brought so much like love into this, and it makes me so happy because again you flip the narrative completely. Like a lot of people, especially for people that aren't Muslim, they'll hear a revert story and they'll hear like the pain and the suffering and being a minority and X, Y and Z and how they came through faith. It's like
a beautiful thing.
But it's so nice. It's really refreshing to hear something like yours, like a story like yours, because you have the support, like you have even the way that you came into faith, like you studied it for what, 5 years, you said?
Yeah, I just was always like nitpicking, well no this, well no that.
How did you even like, what was the turning point in your life where you were like, whoa, like I want to properly learn about this?
I think it was kind of, when was I was in like, so I went to school and everything, left when I was 16, and I just had no direction in life.
Okay.
So like I didn't get into sixth form, like really destroyed me, think I really wanted to go sixth form. Went to college, didn't like it. Went to that college, didn't like it. Tried this, didn't like it. And I just was like, oh my God, I've got no sense of what I'm meant to do in life. I'm literally kicked out of school and that's it. And I just was like...
Why'd you get kicked out?
No, like you get kicked out of school at 16.
Oh okay, I'm screaming.
Don't make me act naughty.
Were you a good child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Whoa. I can see the goodness.
We'll talk off camera.
Alright, cool, off camera.
But yeah, so I was in and out, and then I got my job in London, so I was there for 1.5 years. And then that's when I knew, I just was like, all these questions and that I asked and they got answered, and I think, I know. I knew. I kind of knew from day dot. I was so fascinated. I was instantly like grabbed by it, and I just knew this was my life. I knew what this was coming.
Were you ever scared?
Yeah, 100%. I think the only thing I was scared was my family and things, how I would react, because you always want that like that bond, that closeness. You don't ever want to be rejected. The fear of rejection is real in life with everything, with anything you do. But yeah, that's the only scary thing I think, was because I knew when you read and things like that, you sit there and like I sit there, and when I'm watching like Dr. Zakaria Knight sometimes, and I'm watching like Mufti Menk, like I sit there and I'm like grinning, and you just know in your heart. That's what I mean. Like we always talk about it, and I'm like, if I took my shahada years ago, I don't think where I'll be. I think I would have, because I was so young as well and so naive. I think I would have stepped back from it. I know I would have.
That's how you know God's timing is perfect.
We know like, and I knew that day. I knew it in my heart when I bowed my rakat, and I was like, this is it. I looked at Siri and I was surrounded by all these beautiful sisters, like black, Asian, white, Turkish, like Syrian, like it was just everyone. I sat there and I just was like, this is it. I know this is the day. And you just know. And
you took it that same day?
That same day, yeah.
Oh,
that morning, it was like Eid prayer. The morning we went for Eid prayer, and I just knew it, and I just was like, it's my heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Eid is even like your anniversary.
Yeah.
That's so lit. Oh my God. That is, so every Eid you're like, oh well, actually, I mean, it will change.
Yeah, so it's June the 4th, but it depends on what year it falls in.
But you know, like I took my shahada and it was Eid and it was just a vibe.
Yeah, it was just such a beautiful day. Like I remember we went to like Zahid's in-laws, and I was like, because his grandma called Dadi, and I'm like, Dadi, I took my shahada, because she always knew, because always for years, and she was like, oh mashallah, like this and that. Like, it was such a nice thing, and like it still is. It's still like you for years, like when you're reading, like you're just in this bubble, you just love it. Like you meet people every day and they're so like interesting, you just feel like, wow, like I'm actually wanted, I'm actually like,
and it's so down to earth, it's so genuine, and especially in the world we live in now, I feel like that lacks so much. So when you find that in people that support you and love you, it's like it just solidifies everything.
100%.
Oh my goodness. Right, I want to talk a bit more on like your fitness, because like that's how we kind of were introduced into each other. I remember actually, I think Lynn sent me, so I had my white collar, well I had before it
your white collar boxing, did you?
Yeah, so we was going back and forth talking, and she sent me like a jogger and that top that had a hijab built in that I was gonna wear that on the fight day.
Fight day, yeah. I think I remember that, yeah.
And it's just there sitting in my wardrobe like waiting to be worn. But let's talk about how like your fitness and like mental health struggles and how that helped and how that kind of ties into faith, because I feel like a lot of people coming into faith fall into that in a struggle. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be mental health, whether it be that in a
Yeah.
battle of like, oh my God, like there's so much going on and I've chosen to do this, but I can't do this because of this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like they have to be perfect when they come into faith and
Yeah.
know everything and be about everything. And it really, like, it will dwell on your mental.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first things, because everyone says don't rush, but you just want to be knowledgeable. You want to be, for example, you're probably like, you're still obviously not all like very knowledgeable, but everyone's got different levels, and like you're probably a lot more than I am. So I looked at people and I'm like, I want to be on that level. So you rush, and then you hit a brick wall, and it's like, oh my God, and you can't get out of it. And it's like you dwell on it, and it like affects your mental health and things. I think it's really important nowadays to have that, be able to be grateful we've got that fitness and like the access to gyms and like just like fresh air and walking. Like, forget the lockdown, mate, innit? Just don't watch. But yeah, when like it's I think it's especially Lynn's such a big advocate on like mental health and things, and I'm with her. Like when I used to do mental health for children, like it is, because that's the core. That controls all of this. Forget your arms, your leg. That in there is what controls everything. And I think when I did my big half marathon before the lockdown, the big half in London, there was thousands of people there. I didn't train. Alhamdulillah, it was good, but I didn't train.
Oh, no.
I went to bed late the night before. I probably didn't carb up properly. I had like Domino's as carbs.
Don't kill me. For what, a half marathon or quarter?
Half marathon. Yeah, I just was like, yeah, whatever, I'll be able to do it. Yeah, this
piece
and
of
that.
cake.
But when I got there, because my mental health was in such a good place, I just run it. I didn't stop once. I just went. I went for it. Yeah. And I got in like 3 hours 5 or 3 hours 10, something like that. Yeah,
that's really impressive.
But then again, I think that's what I mean. You have to have the combination of both. I think I probably would have done a lot better if I had that fitness with the mental. But I was like, the mental, it does play a big part. And I think the crowds, the atmosphere, it was like everyone cheering, because I was dressed up as Minnie Mouse. You'll see it on my Instagram, like you'll see it on my Just Giving page.
I think actually I might have seen it.
Yeah, so I was just as Minnie Mouse, and I was like, come on Minnie, like, because I was the only one, so it cheers you on. It's the mental side to it.
Yeah.
But especially like with your, like when you go to the street gym or you're doing your boxing, because your mental health is so like, it's good, and then you've got your like physical power there.
Yeah,
it's amazing what you can do.
It's a game changer.
It is. It's amazing. I think I would have, now if I tried to run a half marathon, I'd be like, I'm done, that kind of thing.
You'd be like 5 minutes in, be like,
I walked from the car here and I just was like,
yeah. Did you not hear me up the stairs? I was up the stairs, like, oh my God, gym. Oh my God.
But as well, faith helps as well, because you've got trust that like Allah will guide, like He'll support you, and that He will never let, like you say, it can't bear more than the soul. He will never put you. You know you're stronger because you know you can do it. You'll never be able to do something that you're not.
Exactly.
And like fitness does, because you're releasing them endorphins. Like you're just getting your physical, like it's just everything adds up together.
Oh my goodness, we love that, man. Do you know what? It's a physical health as well. It's a form of therapy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love it, because fitness and faith with me have more similarities than differences.
Yeah.
The therapy, the growth, the strengths, everything within
the routine.
it. Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen at the end of it.
Yeah,
if I train for this, but like this and that.
Yeah.
It interlocks with each other 100%.
Okay, right. How do you feel? So you're 2 years in now. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about like how do you even see yourself as like a Muslim? I know that's a weird question, but like, you're 2 years in, you've studied it for 5 years prior, and now like your family know you're completely out, so to speak, right? How does that feel?
Do you know what? It's so weird, because we were all talking about it just because we were all together yesterday, so we were talking about it. It feels like I'm like who I am now, and I think I don't have to, because it was like literally, it was like Hannah Montana, like double, like best of both worlds. Like, it's like I've got this Grace who's a Muslim, and then I've got Grace, like, and I had two different personalities, and I think like even some of my friends, like the other friends I haven't seen in a little while, found out yesterday, and they just was like, oh, like you fasting this and that, blah blah blah, like talking about it. And I think I don't have to live that double life no more. I don't have to be like around certain people, like it's not they might not judge me, but that's my paranoia, and that's my thing of like, I don't want them to look at me different. So I'll be like this Grace who's a Muslim, and then I'll be this Grace who's just Grace, and like that's who people know me for. And I think now that's like I'm Grace and I'm a Muslim. It's like it's not that two both worlds thing. It's like
it's aligned.
Now it's like this is it, like kind of thing. But yeah, it's so nice now to not be like hidden, and I think when you get like that, I've grown confidence of like I don't care, like you do, like you start to stop caring. You think like, oh, you're not going to be there in maybe 50 years. Who knows where we're going to be? Who knows where I'll be in 5 years time? And I think you just have to live for like the purpose, not just like, oh, but Becky's my friend this week, she might not be next week, kind of thing.
Live for the purpose, not the moment.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah, you have to though. It is, and it's a relief. And I think props to everyone that still like keeps it under things, like alhamdulillah, like I've got that family, but like I hope they can get that support.
Yeah.
And I hope they can feel confident to like even talk to just one. When you talk to one person about it, it just like it changes it, and it's like that brick's gone off, and it's like when you tell that person that's gone off, and
it's
blah,
a
blah,
release.
Blah. Yeah, it's a like thing. But yeah,
if you could give your old self advice prior to turning to faith, and if you can give somebody that might be in the same situation as you that you were in 2-3 years ago, what piece of advice would you give people and yourself?
Just do it.
Just do
it. Like,
hashtag Nike. Just do it.
Just do it, because I think life is so short, and I think when I think of life and things that happen in my own personal life, things can change overnight. Snap bang, they're gone. You can have, like they say, like people that have been rich millionaires, bang, they're poor overnight. Like people who have been like the healthiest, like especially at work, because we're talking about things at work. COVID, people are like the most gym freaks, like vegan, this and that, nothing wrong with them, they've dropped down dead. Like, and I think you can't think of tomorrow, and I think now I've got into that state of, okay, no, do it tomorrow. No, I'll do it now. Whether it's an hour late, but I'm doing it now, kind of thing. It would just be, just do it.
Yeah,
tomorrow's never promised, and it's not. You don't know, and I think
discipline will come. If you make the first step to just do it, everything else will fall in line.
Your fault is already the first. Like going at your fault, you're having that intention in you is already the first sign of that you're willed, and it's like the second step of actually doing it is like you're there. Like just keep going. Like. Yeah. That
was so lovely. Yeah. Oh my God, I need to have you back. That was so sweet. I like to end my podcast, I don't know why I shouted, I got really excited at the end. I like to end all my podcasts with a riddle, maybe two. I don't know how good you are with like riddles. I love riddles. Can you tell I'm excited?
Okay. I'm alright.
I love this. I love them. Okay, cool. Are you ready?
Okay.
I think they're quite easy though. I've got two.
Okay.
Yeah. What has a bottom at the top?
Has a bottom but no top.
No, what has a bottom at the top?
Has a bottom at the top. The ocean.
No. I love it.
The answers that go right.
Has a bottom at the top.
Yeah.
Has a bottom at the top. What has a bottom?
It's actually very easy when you think about it.
At the top.
Yeah.
What has a bottom?
Oh my God.
At the top.
I give up. I thought it would be
no,
the ocean bottom.
What do you mean? You can't give it after one guess.
Has a bottom at the top.
Everybody has it.
A bum.
No. Almost. You're there though, kind of. What has a bottom at the top? And if everybody has it.
Stairs.
No, babe. No one has stairs.
You're like, now my inner blonde's coming out. Like, my inner, this is brown.
The natural side of us coming out.
It has a bottom at the top.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you know?
I'm lost.
What?
Bottom at the top.
Do you guys give up? Genuinely. If you give up, we can move on to the next one.
Bottom at the top.
You were there when you said bum. You were there.
Me and her looking at her like, what's going on? There's a bottom at the top.
What's a bottom at the top?
Your legs.
Yeah, your legs.
Oh,
that was so anticlimactic. It's like, oh.
I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
The bottom at the top because your bottom's on your legs.
Period. I'll give you one more for the vibes. People make me, save me, change me, raise me. What am I? It's money.
Is it money?
Yeah.
Mate, you was well quicker than me. I was like, I was sitting there going,
like, trying to retrace it.
I'm still like reading it in my head. I'm like, change me.
Oh my God, Grace, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, my babes, my darling. You lot, like, subscribe, all of that sort of stuff. Please plug anything that you want to plug, whether it's jog on, whether it's your next marathon you said is in October. Yeah. So
I'll start training in April. So
the links for the funding page
at Race with Grace, but we'll link it, and hopefully you can donate. Even a share's good as anything.
So at Race with Grace on Instagram, link will be in her bio. I'll put the link in the bio as well. Follow it, share it, donate, do what you need to do. It's been cute, guys, and until next time, bye.